Welcome to my channel Valuable Coins, All World. If you've ever wondered if those old coins you have lying around could be worth a fortune, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into some of the rarest US coins, revealing their jaw-dropping values that will leave you amazed. Stick with us till the end. You won't want to miss what these hidden treasures could be worth. Let's get started. Top 1. If you've ever searched through your change jar or checked the coins in your wallet without thinking twice, you might want to pay a little more attention, especially if you happen to come across a Washington quarter dollar from the year 1965. At first glance, it's just another quarter, part of the everyday currency that's been in circulation for decades. But beneath that ordinary exterior lies a fascinating story of history, transition, and unexpected value that has turned the 1965 Washington quarter into one of the most talked about coins among collectors. What makes this quarter so special isn't just its age, it's what happened in the world of coinage that year, and how a single coin could defy expectations and end up worth a small fortune. The year 1965 was a turning point in the history of American coins. It marked the end of an era. The United States Mint made the historic decision to remove silver from the dime and quarter. Up until 1964, these coins were struck in 90% silver, making them not only currency but also small stores of precious metal. But with the rising price of silver and a looming coin shortage, the mint was forced to make a bold move. Starting in 1965, quarters were minted using a new clad composition, a copper core sandwiched between two layers of nickel. This change helped reduce production costs and allowed more coins to be struck quickly. But it also meant that silver quarters, and even early clad quarters, would become historically significant in ways few could imagine. Now, here's where things get really interesting. While 1965 quarters were officially supposed to be struck with the new clad composition, rumors and evidence have circulated for years that a few were mistakenly struck on leftover 90% silver planchets from 1964. These silver transitional errors are incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. Imagine a coin that was never supposed to exist, a product of chance, error, and timing. These silver 1965 quarters are like finding a hidden message in history, and when discovered, they send ripples through the numismatic world. But even beyond the rare silver errors, regular clad 1965 quarters in pristine condition have grown in value over the years. That's because coin collectors have learned that high-quality examples of this coin are incredibly difficult to find. Why? For starters, 1965 was also a year when the U.S. Mint stopped producing mint sets, special collections of coins in uncirculated condition, which meant fewer high-grade examples of these coins were preserved. On top of that, the early clad coins often suffered from weak strikes, rough surfaces, and overall mediocre quality. Most 1965 quarters were heavily circulated, used in vending machines, handed over at gas stations, and rattled around in pockets for decades. Finding one that survived all those years in brilliant, mint condition is like discovering a time capsule. Collectors today pay close attention to the details. A 1965 quarter with strong luster, full strike, and no blemishes is a prize. But when it comes with unusual features, like a silver planchet, double die, or off-center strike, its value skyrockets. These aren't just coins anymore. They become numismatic legends. Some have even been found with full drum lines on the reverse or sharply defined details that hint at superior striking quality. Every one of these small details adds another layer of desirability. It's also worth mentioning that the Washington quarter design itself has stood the test of time. Introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the coin features a powerful and enduring profile of America's first president. The reverse, with its heraldic eagle-clutching arrows and olive branches, reflects a nation's strength and commitment to peace. On a well-preserved 1965 quarter, these details are more than just design. They become artistry, capturing a snapshot of American history at a critical moment. Now imagine holding one of these rare gems in your hand. Not just any 1965 quarter, but one that defies the odds, a coin that avoided decades of wear, maybe even one of the rumored silver transitional pieces, or a perfectly struck, high-grade clad specimen with every detail untouched. To a casual observer, it might look like just 25 cents. But to the trained eye, to a passionate collector, it is a treasure, a coin worth far more than its face value. And when one of these exceptional coins makes its way to a major auction or is discovered in a private collection, the numbers can be staggering. The demand is fierce, the excitement is real, and collectors are willing to go to great lengths to add one to their collections. So just how valuable can a 1965 Washington quarter really be? Believe it or not, under the right conditions, rare error, impeccable condition, or a certified silver strike, this seemingly ordinary coin has been known to sell for an astounding $185,000. That's right, a single quarter, struck in 1965, can be worth $185,000. So the next time you're handed change, don't just toss that quarter aside. You might be holding a slice of American history and possibly a hidden fortune. Top 2. Have you ever stopped to wonder if that loose change jingling in your pocket could be worth more than just a trip to the vending machine? It might sound like a stretch, but for coin collectors and history buffs alike, certain coins carry stories and value far beyond their face worth. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most unexpectedly valuable coins in modern American history, the 1982 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, it's just another coin with George Washington's profile, one of billions minted for everyday use. But what lies beneath that copper-nickel surface is a tale of mistakes, rarity, and extraordinary value that has turned this ordinary-looking quarter into a small fortune for those lucky enough to recognize its worth. The early 1980s were a time of transition for U.S. coinage, especially in 1982. That year, the United States Mint was facing the dual pressures of budget concerns and changing production standards. For the first time in decades, the Mint made the surprising decision to stop producing mint marks on some coins, and more notably, it did not issue any annual mint sets. This one detail alone is a massive deal for collectors. Mint sets are how coin enthusiasts typically acquire coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, and without them in 1982, there was a major gap in the availability of high-quality specimens. That gap has turned 1982 quarters into a unique challenge. They are hard to find in truly exceptional condition, and that scarcity has fueled growing demand among collectors. But that's just the beginning. The 1982 quarter is also wrapped in another complication that makes it even more valuable: the issue of design variations. During this time, the Mint was experimenting with different dies, and the result was two distinct types of obverse front designs, the small date and the large date. These variations were never officially announced to the public, but collectors eventually discovered them by paying attention to the slight differences in the date's typography. This adds a level of complexity and excitement to collecting 1982 quarters, because you're not just hunting for condition, you're also hunting for type. What truly sends the value of these coins into the stratosphere, however, are the rare errors and unusual minting anomalies that occurred during this already tumultuous production period. Examples include off-center strikes, double dies, and coins struck on planchets meant for other denominations. These aren't your average mint errors, they're extremely rare, and when certified by top grading services, they can fetch staggering prices at auction. On top of that, finding a 1982 quarter in mint state 67 or higher is incredibly difficult due to the lower quality of production that year. Most were released straight into circulation, where they endured decades of wear and tear. High-grade examples are like hidden gems, and when discovered, they send waves through the numismatic community. And let's not forget the symbolism behind the Washington quarter. First introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of America's first president, the coin's design has become one of the most iconic in U.S. coinage. The dignified portrait of Washington on the obverse and the striking eagle clutching arrows and olive branches on the reverse speak to the nation's history, its resilience, and its ideals. A 1982 Washington quarter that has survived the test of time in flawless condition carries more than monetary value. It's a symbol of legacy and craftsmanship, a preserved artifact from a fascinating chapter of the Mint's history. Now, if you're someone who loves the thrill of a treasure hunt, keep your eyes open. That 1982 quarter in your change jar could be more than a nostalgic piece of metal. Look for sharp details, unusual markings, or that elusive high-grade finish. You just might be holding something far more precious than you think. Because in today's collectible coin market, a rare 1982 Washington quarter, especially one with the right error, die variety, and pristine condition, has been known to sell for an astonishing $145,000. That's right, $145,000 for a single quarter. So check your pockets, dig through that old coin collection, and don't overlook the past, because the next piece of forgotten change might just change your life. Top 3. Have you ever thought that a simple coin, something as ordinary as a Washington quarter, could one day be worth more than a luxury car or even a small home? It may sound unbelievable, but sometimes the smallest treasures lie hidden in plain sight. And in the case of the 1994 Washington quarter dollar, that everyday pocket change may be far more valuable than anyone could have imagined. This coin, minted in the final decade of the 20th century, has become the center of attention among collectors, historians, and treasure hunters across the nation. It's not just a piece of currency. It's a gateway into a fascinating world of rarity, error, and historical significance. Today, we'll uncover the mystery behind this seemingly common coin and reveal why some examples have fetched jaw-dropping prices on the open market. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932, when it was introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Over the decades, it has become one of the most recognizable coins in circulation, and millions pass through our hands every day. But what makes the 1994 quarter stand out is not simply its age. It's the unique blend of errors, condition, and historical context that sets certain specimens apart from the rest. In 1994, the U.S. Mint was operating at full steam, producing millions of quarters to meet the growing demands of commerce. But amid that massive production run, a handful of quarters were struck with extraordinary mistakes, minting anomalies that turned ordinary coins into once-in-a-lifetime rarities. Some of the most valuable 1994 quarters are those with dramatic mint errors, double strikes, off-center strikes, and clipped planchets, to name just a few. These errors are not just quirks. They're rare manufacturing slips that collectors crave. The reason? Mint errors offer a glimpse into the behind-the-scenes process of coin production, a process that usually unfolds with machine-like precision. When something goes wrong, and that error makes it into public circulation, it's like finding a fossil in your backyard, rare, valuable, and full of stories. Additionally, some 1994 quarters were struck using worn or misaligned dies, creating blurred or distorted images, particularly in the date and lettering. These varieties, especially when found in pristine condition, have become incredibly sought after, but condition is just as important as rarity. Most 1994 quarters entered circulation immediately, enduring years of wear, scratches, and tarnish. Finding one in mint state condition, especially grades MS67 or higher, is extremely difficult. Coins in this condition exhibit sharp details, mirror-like surfaces, and virtually no signs of handling. These are the coins that collectors and investors go wild for at auction. The demand for high-grade examples has surged in recent years, driven by both seasoned numismatists and newcomers who are beginning to realize the hidden value of these everyday coins. With the help of professional grading services, many of these quarters are authenticated and sealed in protective holders, preserving their value for generations to come. Another layer of intrigue surrounding the 1994 Washington quarter lies in its historical context. The mid-1990s marked a transition period in American coin collecting. The U.S. Mint was preparing for the launch of the wildly popular 50-state quarters program, which would begin in 1999. As such, the years leading up to this program, including 1994, are seen as the end of an era. Quarters from this time are often overlooked by casual collectors, which makes rare finds from these years all the more special. The 1994 quarter, in particular, has become a symbol of hidden value, a coin from an otherwise unremarkable year that now commands serious attention. So, what should you be looking for? Keep an eye out for quarters with sharp details, strong luster, and no visible wear. Look closely for oddities in the design, anything from slight doubling in the letters to unusual textures or shapes around the edges. If you believe you found a special piece, consider having it graded by a reputable coin grading service. It's the only way to truly determine its market value and preserve it properly. Believe it or not, one specific 1994 Washington quarter dollar, due to its flawless condition and a rare minting anomaly, stunned collectors and was sold for a staggering $110,000. Yes, you heard that right. $110,000 for a single 25-cent coin. So next time you're handed change at the store or digging through your coin jar at home, don't rush to spend it. Take a moment, because one of those quarters might just be the key to an unexpected fortune.